Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we stand on the cusp of game number 3 between Robert Morris and 2-0 favorites currently, Maryville.
Yeah, wow.
Interesting to see how this one's going to pan out. I think a lot of people were expecting to see Maryville come out swinging, and they have. Man, they have. But it's not over yet. Robert Morris has a chance now to claw this one back. It's a long 3-game road ahead of them.
But
we'll see if they can do it.
Hey, listen, if C9 can run the gauntlet, so can RMU, just in the gauntlet of this best-of-5 series against Maryville.
Sure.
And that's the thing. We have talked about it over and over again. Between game adjustments in these best-of series are freaking huge. And that is where I think we will see RMU shine.
Well, due to the break we had to take on our end, does give them a little bit more time to just strategize, plan. Should be relatively in favor of the losing team there to come back and say, hey, here's what we need to do to pump up a little bit back into our game. Maybe some draft changes and takeaways that they can pull off here. So we will see. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, my name is Kyle Corvus Crow, joined by Brian Brain Starkey. Doesn't quite roll off the tongue.
Well, it's because people meme on my name, dude.
I know. We've got a long way to go for the side of Robert Morris, and not so long if you are Maryville trying to pick this one out and close it in a clean 3-0. Stakes are high because this one is the last game standing between them and they're not just perfect season, but they're perfect season. We talked about this before. They've won every series they've played, sure, but they've not dropped a single game in that series. I think it qualifies as a perfect season if you win every series. Right, not losing it. You kind of have to outside of the group play.
Right.
But perfect season. Not dropping a game within those series, that would be ridiculous.
That would be amazing, and that would just get me so hyped for what I'm about to plug: Midwestern Campus Clash.
Oh boy, yes, can't wait for that. MWCC. Got a lot going on with it. $25,000 on the line. It's going to be April the 8th. That's only a couple short weeks away at this point as we are in late March. Columbia College in Missouri. We saw Columbia square off against RMU.
Yep.
Where RMU looked like a much different team than the one we're seeing today.
Yeah.
We'll see how that one pans out. But both these teams should be coming back to meet one another at the Campus Clash. They actually play in the qualifier tomorrow. I don't know if those games are being broadcast in any capacity. But I would expect to see maybe one of these players streaming, one of these 10 guys here in the game now.
Yeah.
You can track that information down, but either way, Campus Clash will be huge. So much money on the line for these teams. And we were talking with Drake, the coach of Robert Morris, right? Mm-hmm. Robert Morris Scholarship School has that young esports money.
Young esports money.
Means they can't afford to have a coach on staff. Drake, super nice guy, told us that RMU's been working so hard right now to get ready for this.
So many hours. Yeah.
Right. If things fall apart now, if this is the end of their road, they still have 2 months to practice as they go down now into the wild card qualifier, which is going to be the 5 teams consisting of North, East, South, and West losers, as well as runner-up in the Big Ten. The best 3 teams out of those 5 go on to play on the LCS stage.
Man, that's the Young Money stage
right there. In California, in late May, I believe. Yeah. I don't know the exact date on that, circling around the late May time frame. So there's a lot of time. I don't know when those qualifier matches are played, but I'm pretty sure it's well late into May when that wild card tournament happens, because I believe Riot is streaming that one themselves. They need to take all the time to get the preparation work underway, which means that whichever team does come out the winner right now, looking like Maryville's strong case for it, is going to have 2 months of time to try to prepare and get ready and tighten up their already strong game. But the loser has 2 months to look at this loss, take so much information from that, build it up, and really come through. And I think might cheese a few people off in the chat by saying this, but the North region and the West regions are the strongest in ULoL right now. East and South, the runners-up in those probably don't stand as great of a chance to make it on through. So chances are this is not the last we're seeing of Robert Morris. They will be likely coming to that NALCS stage should they drop this game.
Yeah.
all the same. Campus Clash, though. Wonder what degree of preparation we're going to see out of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely assume that RMU, if they lose this game, or
Right.
even if they win, I would assume they take a break.
Yeah. We heard through the grapevine they're playing double scrim blocks against some really good teams out there. Not going to name drop anybody, but some Challenger Series teams that are competing for the LCS here. They're trying to get into the LCS, and
Yeah.
Robert Morris is a good enough school to square off with some of those guys. Speaks volumes about how good Maryville is looking right now.
Yeah.
And no bands changed.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You kind of have to almost do these exact same bands, though, right? Like, Rumble, extremely strong. Renekton, extremely strong. Vladimir, still very good. By Pinks, we've seen him play that. Terrifying. Graves, so good. Highest win rate in the jungle right now. Absolutely deletes people. Like, Prototype is extremely, extremely good on that Caitlyn. And I guess the Thresh ban might be targeted towards Free Papa Chow, but we just haven't seen him play it yet, so I don't know. But maybe that Thresh is going towards Free Papa Chow, or they're just like, we don't want to play against Thresh in any capacity.
Right. No, you really just have to get that one away. Lee Sin, first pick for Mordio, means that the ever-prioritized Shen does go to Saskew this game. Karma as well. They don't want to steer clear of this champion. Jody Walrus takes that one away for Papa Chow, and in the first round draft, it's going to be Karma just about every single time.
Yeah, Karma's actually, I think Karma has been first picked for Maryville almost every single time, like in the first round.
Yeah.
And so, like, that is such a huge pickup for Free Papa Chow. He's like, no, I don't care. I don't care if I don't get Lulu.
Right.
I actually want Karma.
Right. We've seen him be so good on Lulu. Even when Lulu was not the meta hero that she is now, he was still just taking this champion to great extents. And so to prioritize Karma so heavily in the series and to do it so well is definitely some very good prep work from the side of Maryville. They lock in Callista.
Okay, so I think it was, we were looking at Prototype's alt account, I think was a challenger, and he had his challenger account, I believe it was you were talking to me about that.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember the name.
I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, but I could have swore this was something that we talked about.
Right.
And Callista was one of the most played champions.
Callista and Caitlyn, right?
Yeah.
And Caitlyn's just been banned out.
And Callista getting picked up.
They're changing things drastically here. This is them saying, all right, now we're really going to close it out. I
Yeah.
feel like these are the picks they had in store in case things went wrong.
Yeah.
And now they're bringing them to the forefront.
And something to note is we did see that that Mordio has played that Lee Sin twice so far, and he has played Olaf twice.
Yeah.
Whereas Chody Walrus has only played Olaf one time so far, from what we've seen in the ULoL series.
I don't recall him actually playing Olaf at all. Oh yeah, no, okay, yeah.
In
it
the
was
very first game.
CMU versus Maryville, game number 1, right when they beat Central Michigan. Yeah, that was a weird composition they ran that day. But yeah, no, we've seen him on one Olaf game running through. This will be the second one. Fits his aggressive play style.
Yeah.
And running through it. I'm surprised to see both these teams steering so heavily away from Rengar.
And I think for me is Mordio has tried the Kazakhs, he's tried the Rengar, and neither has worked.
Yeah.
Right? So that really leaves you with the only other champion that we've seen Mordio play this season, and that's Lee Sin, right?
Right.
And so if the Lee Sin doesn't work out in game 3, Mordio's going to have to find something to mix it up with. Maybe pick up the Olaf.
Right.
And so that's a viable option, but when Chody Walrus takes that away from you, what are you going to do? And it doesn't look like there are going to be any cancels, so the team comps you see are the team comps that we are going to get.
Right.
So in that top lane, we are going to have West Coast carry on that Gnar again. He played extremely well on that Gnar in game 1, right?
Right.
And so that was just so good.
Right.
It was just so good coming out of him. He did, I think that was one of the big reasons that RMU was able to stay active and stay alive in that game so long, playing against Saskew's Shin. Because he was just playing so much harass onto him.
I mean, really just blooding the noses everywhere. Yeah, West Coast carry on that Gnar. I like that we're seeing him return to this. Gillette now moving away from arguably his favorite champion onto this Talia. We'll see if this is something that they had as a pocket pick prepared. Talking to Drake, said they knew that Ahri was something that is a big threat from CatGod. How can you not, right? He's been playing Ahri every chance it's up this season. Let's see how let's count the Ahri games. It's at least 3 in a run against Kansas, and then a game that they had in Manitoba. So there's a lot of literature out there on his ability to play. There's some video footage of exactly what we're going to find from this Ahri. They knew it was coming. They knew it's likely the last pick, and they run the Talia into it instead of the Casio this time. And so, I'm interested to see.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple of cool interactions that is going to be really interesting to see with the Talia that actually combo off of her wall. So you can use the Talia to wall off somebody who gets picked by the Ashe Crystal Arrow.
Right.
You can use it to wall off somebody who gets picked by the Malzahar ultimate. You can use the wall to set up a Gnar ultimate.
Yeah.
Which is huge, especially considering how well we saw West Coast Carry use that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's like...
It's phenomenal when he 2v1'd against Prototype and Cat God. Yeah.
If he's just like... If Bypinks is just like, hey, West Coast, here's a wall. He's like, oh, okay. Just chucks the entire team into it. And I think that was one of the big problems that we saw in the first game was that West Coast Carry... When he was able to get in, find a wall, and have that Mega Gnar, he was doing an excellent job of it. But sometimes the fights just weren't in a good position for him to use his ultimate to throw enemies into a wall.
Right.
So being able to have that basically on demand with
wall
a
in a box.
Ultimate, yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Right.
It's just like
take the wall with you.
That's
wall
right.
on the go.
Exactly.
Love it. That's gonna be maneuver. And with Lee Sin, it's just another flashy wall to hop over a couple times because everyone knows that your skill as a jungler when playing Lee Sin is directly proportional to the amount of walls that you leap over with wards.
Jump over with the ward hops.
Love it. I also really like the zoning potential coming out from Malzahar as a pick with Ashe in the back pocket. So it seems like the drafts from both teams are going to take a different direction here. And I could not be more thrilled. This is likely the change that Robert Morris needs to make.
Yeah.
They can't stick with the old stuff because Maryville proved that they can beat it very handily. So trying something new, even if it's not the craziest draft, I think it lacks a lot of bursting potential through its damage. It's going to be relying on a lot of lockdowns, some very extended fights. It's still, I think, a marginal improvement over the last time around. If I'm Robert Morris, I'm going to be praying for some Ocean Drakes pretty early on.
Yeah.
Just to taper out some of these very long, extended sieges that they might want to build up. Cloud Drakes as well. I think the side of Maryville would really just like more damage. That's what they need to kill you better.
That's right. We just want Infernals so we can kill you faster, but
right.
also better.
Gotta kill you more than we killed you previously.
And so that's actually interesting you bring that up, right? Like, so we've seen Cat God play that Ahri.
Yes.
Very, very well. We've seen Kalista. I've seen Kalista played at least 1 or 2 times in this ULoL season. She did get
rarely with a Karma.
Yeah, very rarely with a Karma, more or less with tanks, but Free Papa Chow plays extremely aggressive on that Karma. Does a great job with the shields. And the important thing to note about all of this kind of talking around the point is that Prototype doesn't play champions that don't allow him to play aggressive and do damage.
Yeah, it's true.
And so if he uses that Karma ultimate, it's merely just going to be used as a lockup for some disengage to kind of give him some freedom, really, to be safe, honestly. And that's the point that I'm trying to get at with this, is that it's basically just like a little bit of a safety net for him to throw at the enemy team and say, like, no, stop.
Knock it off.
Get out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be transitioning into game number 3, all on the line now. If you are Robert Morris or a fan of Robert Morris, and so close that the pressure has to be real for the side of Maryville. They've got the momentum. They've got a different draft, but there's revitalizations coming out from Robert Morris here as well. And I would not be surprised to see a much more aggressive play style coming out from RMU this time around. They have to make these decisions. They have to be the ones dictating the pace of the game, and they know it.
And it's really important with the champions that they picked,
right.
too. I mean, Lee Sin is going to be what you're going to use to dictate this early game.
Right, yes.
And, like, with the side of Maryville, they have a couple of options to help them dictate the flow a little bit better, right? Free Papa Chow does a really good job of dictating the flow of the bot lane with his aggression that Prototype does an excellent job of following up on. But also, Cat God is able to play that Ahri extremely well and apply pressure that way, giving him some options. But really, when you're looking at the side of RMU, you really only have Mordio on that Lee Sin who can dictate it. And that was one of the key matchups that we've kind of talked about being the most important coming into this game, is how how does Chody Walrus and Mordio, how do they match up with each other?
Well, I think in terms of just the champions they're playing, it's going to be pretty down the line. Chody Walrus, as an Olaf, is going to have a great answer to anything that could potentially run out of the side of Mordio there. So, you know, the Ghosted Viking is somebody that can really get in on your face and punish you if you are falling behind, and just loves to run down. We talk about dictating the flow of the game. He's got 2 settings. Not engaged and like 6th gear.
He turns it up to 11.
Right. And so in that regard, yeah, I think Chody Walrus, if he's on his game here and trying to give Mordio a run for his money in terms of making the calls and setting up the plays for his team, this is a very grim situation for Robert Morris.
And it's a tricky situation if you're Robert Morris too. Like it's not only a little bit like tense, right? Because Chody Walrus likes to go ham, but it's also like, okay, what do we do if he does go ham?
Right.
Like that requires a lot of vision control to keep you safe from a scary wielding Axe Viking running at you from the jungle.
And it's not like you can lock him down with anything, because
Right.
he's just going to use his ultimate. What's the Crystalline Arrow going to do with that? What's the Malzahar ultimate going to do with that? Nothing.
Yeah, and so it's like you really kind of have to get a pick on someone else and just hope you can taper off the
Weather
Olaf
the storm, right?
Yeah, until the craziness is over. But when you look at the damage threats of Maryville, that's going to be
many.
That's going to be a very hard task, and that puts a lot of pressure on West Coast Carry to do well on that Gnar.
Cat God's under a lot of pressure, forcing the flash out. By Pinks has been the aggressive player in the first 3 to 5 minutes of every single game, and Talia not going to be any different this time around. Just shoving right in on the face of that Ahri. Lanes have gotten progressively better throughout this series for the side of Maryville. Yeah, that's a flash. He flashes a little early, and West Coast Carry actually gets out of that one alive. That was a misplay on the side of Saskia. He had that in the bag. He just needed to wait and flash reactively, not proactively.
That's actually a really tricky situation. So I agree with you to an extent because West Coast Carry was like 3 rage away from being Mega Gnar.
Yeah.
And so it's like, do you... Oh, hang on.
Yeah, this could be bad for Cat God.
It is. Because, okay,
Wow.
so Talia's Q does splash damage
Yep.
on the impact point, and while...
Kind of cut him on the corner there.
That's right. So while Cat God was safe behind the minions, he was standing so close that he got hit with the splash damage from it. So that was very well played by Pinks. Once again, someone tweeted at us, and I think RMU Esports tweeted at us and said, "Here's a fork to eat your words." And once again, Cat God not dictating the flow of the game, but actually by Pinks showing me once again what for.
Yeah. And that's what we want in a series like this. We want answers coming back from teams. It's no fun for anyone if anyone just rolls over and dies in a series like this one. So glad to see RMU making the changes they need to. It's just a question of whether or not it's going to be enough at this point.
Mm-hmm. And it's true. I think it is a question of whether or not it'll be enough, but it's also like the one of the other big things that we saw come out as an advantage in Game 1 for RMU, where they were able to hold on for a much longer amount of time and they didn't get as far behind as quickly, was the fact that Pinks did very well on that Cassiopeia.
Right.
And so I think having that early first blood kill with a Talia is going to be very, very big, especially playing against Cat God.
Right. It's just a matter of how big, because if this is the pick that they had as an answer directly into the Ahri, it's going to be great. If this is something a little bit more nuanced and, well, we just have to try something else, you never know how it's going to turn out. And so, all in all, Mordio actually finding a 2v1. That's the wall coming in from Pinks too. Joins the fight very quickly. Walrus and Chow are in some trouble here. The exhaust comes down onto Olaf. It's going to be a kill. Evan RL finds the second one of the game for his team. Taken away as the Malzahar, damage-heavy support. Never hates to have a kill there. And so, Papa Chow on the ropes. Chody Walrus out of the ring entirely for the next 5 seconds. Does mean the side of Robert Morris has picked up 2 very good kills for themselves now.
That's not what you want to have happen if you're Maryville.
No.
Because not only does that like give them a kill, but that takes away so much pressure.
Right.
Right now, like now the lanes can breathe easier. Like Chody Walrus is dead. Okay, great. Let's go get some wards out. Let's relieve some of this pressure that our lanes are feeling a little bit, just at least in the bot lane, right? Like Free Papa Chow and Prototype always playing aggressive, and that gives them a little bit more breathing room at least. And not only does it give them breathing room, that actually allows them to get decent CS leads, at least in the jungle, in the top, and in the mid lane.
Certainly. So, all this, I think, coming off the back of Bypinks and that Talia pick, we called it into question a little bit, but so far in these first 7 minutes, he's had some really good answers for us. Said, don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Ahead in CS in the lane, has the kill, has a nice assist due to coming down on the wall that eventually did take out Chody Walrus and divide a lot of the team of Maryville there. And so, now Robert Morris has some padding to play off of. They're going to find Papa Chow here. He is not going to make it out of this one alive, I don't think. Actually does get on the right end of things, and now Cat God's over the wall. Mordio wants it. It will be the Stand United sealing the deal, keeping Papa Chow in that one, and too aggressive coming out from Mordio. Thought it was safe enough. Underestimated the damage coming out from Cat God, but an Ignite slapped on your face does a whole hell of a lot to change the tide of a fight.
Being caught on fire hurts a little bit.
Yeah. I think the side of Maryville knows that one a little well with all the Twitter flame that Prototype knows how to spit.
Oh, snap. Dude, you're making this meta.
Oh, man.
This is so meta now.
It's great. The context surrounding a game this important is always going to be relevant to the viewers at home, I believe so.
Yeah, and it adds a certain degree of like, good interest to it. Hang on, Evan RL taking a little bit of damage on the chin.
Yeah, taking a lot, actually, but spits it back. Prototype blinking. Bucksack flashes, doesn't find it. Flash volley, little overzealous for the AD of RMU, but nothing ventured, nothing gained. It's a flash for flash, so it's still at least even in that regard. Prototype does not have his for the next fight either. But it's a dangerous situation to be in with Olaf ghosting in right now, actually. Circling like a shark in deep water. Gonna come in. They don't know Mordio's here. The teleport's coming through. Shows his face. Teleport canceled. Prototype low. Walrus dead. Coming out. And that's not going to be the way that Maryville really saw that one turning around for him. Chody Walrus on this Olaf been severely punished. Meanwhile, Bypinks is in. He finds it. That's a double kill off of a really smart rotation. Saskia
Wow.
kept alive by the clip of the wall.
Yeah, got lucky that the boulder hit the wall and not him.
Super lucker. In good shape there, but I'll tell you what's not in good shape. This bot tier tower, and this is the first time we've actually seen First Tower go over to RMU in this series. This is the first time we've seen them have a lead this drastic, I believe, in this series.
This is a completely different team.
And this may be the first dragon they take at all in this series.
Yeah.
Cat God wants to find Bypinks, but the guy's such a monster right now. Knocks him back, just avoiding the tower. Does not connect the full combo of the Q, and with that should be a tapering off, but Cat God, that's a brush across the plate. He's got to back up off of that one, says, well, okay. I'm going to put a little bit more respect on Gillette's name here.
You have to. I mean,
Yeah.
he's playing this Talia very, very well. He's landing all the combos he needs to. Like, the hardest part of Talia is being able to land that knockback.
Right. It's true. It's such a difficult spell to make happen.
Because it's delayed. It has a very small hitbox. And so you have to be kind of predictive about where it goes. And you also need to, like, be cognitive of where you're sending the enemy.
That's true.
And so, like, being able to send them into your minefield, launch them back, use a Q on top of it. There's just a lot of that goes into playing Talia and being smart about it. And Bypinks is doing a very good job of playing that champion well.
Yeah. That's something that's interesting to me, just in the terms of, like, the global League of Legends scene. I wanna take some history back here.
I'm ready.
We're gonna go to the first month after Thresh was released.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
That is a long time ago. Thresh is as old as ice, right?
Yeah.
Everyone on Reddit and Twitter and the general sphere was talking about just like how tricky landing that reverse flay was. Now, it's sort of just kind of programmed into everybody's head. But I remember there was this buzz around like how good Xpecial was at landing reverse flays, and it was just crazy, like ahead of everyone else. And now, like, as a Silver 4 support main, I can nail a reverse play every time. It's just something that you get used to. The mechanics, when they introduce something that's relatively new, or foreign rather, not necessarily new because there's some similarities in Zig's kit there, but it just takes a while for everyone to catch up on that. But once you've got it down, it's just second nature. A little bit of mental reprogramming coming in, and it looks like Pinks has that down to a T. Wouldn't be surprised to see the rest of the community catch up in time. Got a couple years to get to this thresh point. Jody Walrus only has a couple seconds left to be alive on this one. It's kill number 4 found for Pinks.
Jeez. So that is another instance of, oh my gosh, what a great crystal arrow. Free Papa
goodbye, Papa Chow. You're not getting freed from that one. Mordio taking that kill for himself. 2 on the Lee Sin is going to be really good. Pinks here now. Gonna mean Prototype is in some trouble. No escape. Mordio finds another one for himself. Buckzak didn't even need to get involved with that one. It was just a dynamic duo of jungle mid. Mordio and Gillette making a close shave for Prototype. Cut him a little too heavily down there. And now that's tower number 2. Unanswered 5k gold lead. Unanswered 7 unanswered kills in the side of Robert Morris's pocket. And
man, this is
a different draft entirely. They've come out swinging this game.
They are feeling good. And honestly, this is what I was hoping to see out of games 1 and 2.
Yes.
Like this RMU. We've been seeing them hang on.
Yeah, Pinks actually, they're going to turn around a kill onto him. Finally does take 2, but they make it happen. Cat God, little worse for the wear, but not going to be out of this one by any stretch at all. Maybe wanting to get something onto West Coast carry. Got to time it around the Narbar pretty well. He's in. He wants this. He's going to go under the tower to try to find it, but he doesn't pop his rage in time. And that means his health bar is taken down to half. His rage is going to be weathered off, and it's a misplay from West Coast Carry. Otherwise, could have turned that into something, but neither team going to be too worse for the wear, as he does have teleport to come back into this fight should one break out.
That's interesting. So West Coast Carry did get hit up by Cat God's very good charm. He's been landing charms very well. Part of the reason why Pinks has been able to hang... Oh, that sucks.
Whoop, yep, just a little kickback, taking it away. No problem.
So the reason I said that sucks is actually Shin, by a hair, missed the taunt onto Mordio. And so that's how he ended up behind Lee Sin and getting the old boot back into his team.
Goodbye, Cat God. That's the combo. Not even going to stand a chance at getting out of that one. Now it's a 1v1 Pinks and Prototype, 2 of the best mechanically gifted players on their teams. Prototype calls for a little backup, though. Brings in Papa Chow, takes the kill away. And that's going to be another death onto the side of Gillette there by Pinks.
Is hit by the boomerang.
Yeah, this is bad for Prototype. He's in trouble, but they're going to try to turn it around. It is the Mega Gnar. It's a 2-man wall knock, and the ult comes out from Olaf. Carry's not getting out of this one. Ren to make sure of that. Prototype finding his first kill of the game, but this game is quickly getting out of their hands. If another tower goes down in the mid lane, that will be 4 unanswered. We talked about how good Cloud Drake would be for the side of RMU. Well, they're showing us exactly how good Cloud Drake will be. Next one on the docket, going to be that Mountain. Something both teams, I'm sure, would love to have at this point.
Yeah, the Mountain Drake becomes more and more valuable the later in the game it gets if you're behind. If you're the side of Maryville,
right,
you really want that Mountain Drake right now.
They're going to be foaming at the mouths for it practically.
Because that is going to give them at least a little bit of a boost in terms of pushing up against these neutral objectives and against the towers. Because they're not having a good time of trying to push any towers. Saskew being a little bit underwhelming on the Shin right now.
Yes.
Stan Uniteds, I haven't seen a lot of them.
No.
And when we do, they're there to save someone, but he doesn't make anything else happen with it.
It's not the same Shen play we saw coming out in Game 1, is it?
No, it's not. And that's also to be said about something about RMU, because this is not the same RMU team either.
Yeah, they're getting in on Saskew's face. It's the Crystalline Arrow just to secure the kill. Buckzak finds himself that one. 2-0-2 now. Much better play on this Ashe than he's had all series. Didn't find success with the Lucian. Didn't find success. Papa Chow's gone.
Will he live? Yes, he
yeah,
will.
He's actually out of that one. Pinks is actually the one in trouble now. It's a good turnaround. I thought they had him for sure, but they swap it back in, and every time I think they're going to zig, they zag.
Free Papa Chow actually, in your defense, he used the empowered shields to keep himself alive, so he got a nice little chunk of health saved from that. If he did not have that, yeah, that definitely would have been in the hands of Gillette.
That's a pretty big takeaway, though, because now this opens up Prototype to just hammer away at this top lane tower. The rest of his team will have to go back to defend their bottom and mid lanes, and bot lane actually may be the one in some more trouble here, just as Gnar is left relatively uncontested with it. He's already got half of it down. Bugzak's going to come around just to turn it back in, but it looks like it might be an inner for an outer trade, and that's going to favor RMU any way you cut it.
Yeah, the good news is, at least, Maryville got their first tower. That is, while it's a unfavorable trade, it's a little bit of a morale victory, right?
Sure.
Like, we got a tower.
Hey, there's something there, right?
Exactly, and that's some much needed gold into the pockets of what I would say is a kind of poor Maryville team.
Yeah, they are looking a little impoverished, a little worse for wear, not quite, malnourished at this point, but
right,
slowly getting there in the global context of how much gold RMU is able to funnel into the exact right places, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've got 2 on their AD, Buckzak getting a couple kills for himself there. By Pinks, Gillette, who's been dictating this entire game for us pretty much. Oh, this is bad. This is not going to go well for the side of RMU. They might turn around to kill, but it is going to be pulled right back into safety. They throw Papa Chow back. He's dead before he hits the ground. And this could be bad news. The Shen is not there. Hasn't burned the teleport or the Stand United to get in yet at all. And the side of RMU wants to keep chasing. I don't know exactly what Maryville's thinking as this is going on, but RMU is able to get a good bit through. They find a kill. They find some harass. They take some, sure. But the pressure's with them now. They're going to be able to reset this top lane. They're going to be able to push out this mid lane, or at least stop a huge push from coming in from the side of Maryville there. And so Maryville just not finding what they wanted to off of that. It looked like that was the bushwhack that they wanted to make happen, and they're the ones still walking away from it feeling surprised.
Yeah, that's tricky. That's super, super tricky.
Oh boy, no. Papa Chow has just been eating them this game. Still alive. Miraculously, I will say, at that point. That was divine intervention. The heavens descended onto him and kept him alive by the skin of his teeth. And he's still just over the wall like, yeah, I'm no health, but I'm still in this one. Goodbye. Boomerang. A boomerang takes him out. Wasn't even meant for him. It wasn't even aimed at him. He walks into it.
Oh, man.
Papa Chow is not having a good game.
Why? Why? You have less than 100 health. Why?
He did this 3 minutes ago when he just opted to get thrown back in after taking all that damage directly from Evan RL's Malzahar ultimate.
Yeah.
And hello?
Are these comms clear? Are we communicating about what we're doing?
Rendo, is you there? Guessing, not quite in this one, but that said, it's all down now to how Maryville is going to turn this one around. They're still trying to look and group and make plays together. They're still wanting to be the team that tries to dictate some of this, but they're trying to do it from 7k gold down. They're trying to do it with 5 towers and 2 dragons in deficit, and they're just not having success right now.
I do think the interesting thing to note, though, is while they're not finding success with this, they are doing a very good job of at least countering-ish the plays that they get aggressed onto, right? They're able to faithfully disengage and not really lose too much, right? Hang on, MU Prototype getting caught out here.
Yeah, Prototype is in trouble, is very well shielded, though, and it's not going to matter. RMU's ripping through this one. 15-5. They find 2 kills for free. It's a teleport and a flash burn, sure, but it's the Baron taken almost certainly in tandem from this one. They might try a steal from Chody Walrus, but he doesn't have flash or any way to get over that wall. He would have to run in there with Ghost, and it looks like the damage is going to be enough to dissuade him. That's Baron taken out. First one of the series for RMU. 21 minutes into this game, and they look so much more poised than last time.
Yeah, this is a completely different RNU than we've seen in the last 2 games where Maryville just kind of, like, this is, like, up until the Baron takeaway, this is what the first game looked like, except for Maryville was in the driver's seat, and RMU was playing in the back.
Right.
And so now it's reversed. Like, RMU is in the front. They're doing extremely well. They're getting the picks. They're dictating the flow of the game. They're getting the wards out, grabbing the Barons. Like, this is the RMU that we kind of expected to see initially.
But how much do we have to criticize them for just being here now?
Right.
This is still way too late in the series to show this side of your team. It's all down to the wire, and so yes, while they're likely poised to win this game, I'd say more than likely, it's 9K gold up at 21 minutes. It's a damn good chance that they walk away the victors of this game. They still have to do this twice more in the series.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder if Maryville's just going to be like, maybe one of our bans isn't quite as important, and maybe we take away Talia, or Cat God picks that up.
Ooh, not able to find West Coast carry, at least not with the knockup that they wanted. The slows are there, but Nars slippery with a flash means he's out of the way. Cat God just dodging the crystalline arrow at the last second. Mordio actually going to lose his GA for this at a minimum. Maybe more coming out. Evan RL is down. GA is popped. Mordio's going to go down. It's a tower loss, but 2 kills found. The wall divides the rest, and Talia will, by the time that her team needs, meaning West Coast should be able to chip away a little bit more of this tower. Top lane tower chipped away a little bit at by Pinks. And it's an exposed inhibitor. 2 kills. I don't believe they can pressure any more out from the side of RMU. They have to be careful here because Maryville, no slouches. We've seen they're not giving up without it's not like they're not giving up without a fight. They're not giving up without 20 fights. They're going to drag this game out as long as possible. Because like we talked about earlier, the longer the game goes, the less the lead starts to matter.
Yeah, and the more important the picks, the Barons, the neutral objectives become. Now, something to talk about is the other side of that coin, right? So gold starts to matter less, but usually teams that have a significant gold lead where that needs to happen have a lot more objectives down.
They've got the infrastructure.
Right, like they have, like right now RMU has 7 turrets down, right?
Yeah, just exactly what you wanted.
So even if they do end up getting a... Oh, hang on.
Yeah, things are getting tense around the Dragon here. It seems like neither team wants to back off. It is going to go over to Chody Walrus. They've got to get out of here now, though, because Maryville is going to be in trouble if they try to stay around too long. West Coast carry finds it. Cat God's over the wall. It's a double knockback and double down. Kills across the board. Mordio trying to find Chody Walrus here. We'll see if he can make it happen. Don't think Mr. Walrus has many places to go. Mordio finds it. Is the back in time from Papa Chow? Nope. He's going to be Puppy Chow. Mordio is going to suck on him like a dog. We'll see. We'll get back there. It's an inhibitor going down first. Evan RL finds the credit for that one. And with the death timers, it looks like they actually may be looking to get a couple of these Baron minions onto that Nexus turret. They'll find at least one here. Possibly 2 with a good knockback onto Saskew. He's going to try to taunt toward Fountain. He just doesn't make it. Mordio finally finding that kill onto Papa Chow. Ace across the map, albeit delayed. But that's game number 3 going back over to Robert Morris, and they are staying alive in this series for at least one more game.
Man, extremely... Whew, that was an extremely good by Robert Morris. Like, a completely different team. I don't know. I don't know how to say it otherwise. Like, aside from that, like, they just looked completely different.
Right.
They were no longer like they didn't feel like they were stuttering. When the decision was made, they followed the decision. They were like, this is our game plan. This is what we want to do with these champions. We're going to use Ashe. We're going to get picks. We're going to give Talia over to Gillette, where he's going to just not even care that Cat God's playing Ahri.
Right.
Just like, whatever. I mean, it was overall just a very good game by RMU.
12K gold up 3 times the amount of kills, doubling in on the Dragons as well. Everything just started to fall apart for Maryville that game, and Robert Morris